did you probably cut this out, but the transcript's real funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can't understand us.
No, you can. It's really good.
Oh,
It's like the
really?
start, like you got your tea? Yeah, I got my tea.
Wait, I need to go make tea.
Yeah. An important part. I like drinking tea is usually my favorite part of the day.
Ah. Is it the only caffeine you have all day?
Yeah. Well, I have two, like one in the morning and one in the evening.
Yeah.
And then
What time's evening?
Oh, sorry, after lunch.
After lunch.
So about like 2.
Okay.
So having tea is my favorite part of the day, and this tea will be my favorite tea of the week.
Yes. We're gonna have to order some special tea. I need to get a pot because I bought some in Europe.
Oh, yum.
But I need to brew it. Yeah, it's from this cool market.
This new Australian,
I thought
right?
I'd find more. I couldn't find any more. I was gonna get you some, but I'm like, oh yeah, I was like at that market. Oh yeah, I'll find like from another market. I get some from all different ones. But I never found tea again.
Tough.
There was just one place. Yeah.
You know how you were on the plane last week, and you just said like, "There's nothing that I can do here."
Oh yeah,
that one, right?
Yeah.
Put that plane in your head, right? Like your head is the plane, your brain is the plane, and you're the passenger.
Yeah.
Sitting at the back of the plane. No, like you have no control over who's driving. They're doing whatever they like. They're driving the plane, right? They're on a journey themselves to get from point A to point B, and you're in the back, just not having any control.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a great analogy for the witness. But sometimes you can like shine stuff on things, right? Like you can sit in the back of the plane and be like, yo, there is a whirlwind coming up. Maybe relax a little bit, and then like your ego is driving the plane, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and you got staff.
Your subconscious, yeah.
And your crew, yeah.
So like you're like your crew, like your different parts of your mind.
Yeah. And you're just in the back. You're in the passenger seat, just watching it, like no control whatsoever. So you just got to sit back. But there is.
I like that.
There is a slight amount of control with shining lights on things, right? Like you can see something out the window, a big storm coming up, and you can like shine light on it and let the ego know, like, hey, I'm gonna crash and burn if you keep pushing people away.
Is that like your conscious awareness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think is like, I don't know, if you want to evolve, or if you want to not necessarily like change, but like what it is, change those habitual thought patterns. So like, you need to shine light on those different, well, first you need to even know they're there. Like, I think it's not even just shining light. Like you need to see what's there. You know what I mean? Like most of us have no idea what our thought patterns are. And like your brain is so good at making you think that you know things.
Yeah.
Like they are so hidden in different ways. Like my brain thinks it's like, oh no, I'm being conscious. But sometimes that's just my ego trying to convince me I am. You know what I mean?
Writing a story about being conscious.
Yeah, it's like spiritual bypass. It is so that subconscious mind is so powerful, and it knows every part of you, like, and it will do whatever it can to keep that narrative the same, like to keep control or that illusion of control over you, because for it, that's safety. Like that's your ego thinks that, if you don't play this character, then you're dead. Like it doesn't want to die. Yeah. So it will like for me, it shows up in so many different ways. Like I'm like, oh, I'm being really conscious right now. I had a good meditation. You know what I mean? Like, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, you had a good meditation, but now you got to clean the house. And oh, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm feeling good. Right. And then you realize that was just there the whole time. Like, it wasn't like I was being conscious of like these habitual patterns and I was letting them go. No, it was just like convincing me, to get to a place where it would be like bang, straight back there again. Like, I don't know, but like where I'm at the moment, like my big thing at the moment is I'm trying to just become aware of those habitual patterns. So like a lot of my writing at the moment is just like, as much as you think you're aware, you're not. Like, so even just like writing down what those particular thoughts are. So like worry for me disguises itself in so many different types of thought patterns. So I'm trying to unlearn worry. So it's like, because worry is everything, isn't it? It's like that concern about how people perceive you. It's like that constant need to, organize things, like focus about work. Like I know I got a big day at work on Monday, right? And I'm already thinking, I'm trying to like meditate. I try to let go of not thinking about that all weekend. All right. But it just keeps showing up in these different ways. So like the first step isn't even like necessarily like changing those thought patterns. It's just becoming aware of what those are. So it's just sitting with them before you can even do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. That's my practice at the moment, is just trying to be aware.
Do you find that when like, when you just said like how when you finish meditation and then you say, oh, that was a good meditation and stuff, and then, oh, you got to clean the house. Like, doesn't the conceptualization start when you kind of judge your meditation?
100%. Right? 100%.
Yeah, like it's not like a bad conceptualization, but it still starts that journey of pulling the awareness away from like your consciousness into the mind, where you start judging it and start like that's been getting me so much, like, and just really taking it back to that first point where it takes away from the awareness after you become conscious, because it's so hard, because you can literally like just be like looking at a tree or something, right, or looking at some flowers, and then you're just like, fuck, there's some good flowers, and then it's just gone. Like, you're already gone once as soon as you've been like, yeah, as soon as that thought comes in, like, there's some good flowers, you're already gone.
Yeah.
And that's
because it doesn't know it's a flower.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a flower.
Yeah. And it's not a flower without us calling it a flower.
Yeah.
Right. And as soon as you put that judgment onto it, it kind of takes away a little bit. And then I think it's a lot easier. I think it's a lot easier to get lost in the next phase, like, oh, you got to clean your house through that. Right. Like it's a gateway. Yeah. It's pretty hard to be looking at something beautiful and being like, oh, I got to clean the house straight away. Like, that'd just be too obvious. You know what I mean? The brain's much smarter than that.
It's so smart, man.
Smart.
It just wears so many disguises. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it'll get you. Yeah. It'll get you if you're being like, sometimes my brain's been really like negative or whatever. So, if that doesn't work in it getting control over me, if I'm like trying to like meditate and do whatever, then it'll start being really positive and trying to get me the other way. Like, oh no, you're really good. You're like, it'll do whatever. And even though like, then I start feeling better, but it still has full control. Like, like it'll start thinking about like the footy, or like getting to watch the footy, or the Lions winning or something, like, to just whatever it is. It's like, whether it's good or bad, like just having that, it just like wants you in that unconscious mode so it can take control. But it's also like, you just got to accept that conscious awareness is just something that it's momentary, isn't it? Like, and you just got to appreciate that you have those moments where you are just looking at the tree and not thinking about 10,000 other things that you need to do, or you can just be there.
No, great. And then I think you can bring like the conscious awareness to to the thinking as well, right? Like that's also a part.
Little moments.
Yeah. But that's where the line blurs for me. Like that's, I mean, I'm sure it's for everyone. That's the whole pretty much basis behind like attention training and through meditation, right? Is that realizing that point between being and thinking.
Do you think you should be getting better at it though?
Yeah, well, it feels like a practice. Like that is the practice. But that obviously that conceptualization of being better,
yeah,
I think takes away from it in itself.
It's the ego itself, yeah. Like I do this meditation sometimes where it's like letting go of the meditator. So I'm not meditating because that is also your ego sitting down and going, I'm meditating, I'm this person that sits there and I'm a good meditator. Well, that's not it at all. Like meditation, there's no good or bad. It's just sitting with your experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not, there is no, like as much as we have a practice, let's do it. There is no practice. It's you're either fully aware or you're not.
Yeah.
You know, like it's crazy contradiction, isn't it? Like, and that's it again. Another disguise, like, is that ego can come through. Right? Oh, you want to meditate every day, or I'll be the meditator. Yeah. I'll make sure you have a good meditation. I'll make sure you're good at meditating. Like, all right, let's make this a game. How good can you get?
How can we turn this into other people liking us more?
Exactly. Yeah. How can we make this a part of your character where it shows how good you are, you know?
Yeah. Instead of just being. There was I was just watching like one of those, I don't know if you go on YouTube much, but they just have like philosophical videos, right? And I was watching this Alan Watts one because he comes up a lot in Ram Dass's book, Alan Watts, and it was like the second that you like meditate, the second that you do meditation for an end goal, you're not meditating.
Yeah.
Like as soon as you enter that, I'm doing this for another thing, you're not meditating, which
because you're doing it to get
hard to do. Yeah, somewhere else. The end, or like lifting weights and everything. Like pretty much everything we do is for an end goal.
But the contradiction is, if you don't meditate, then you'll never let go of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you might meditate to have an end goal, but meditation is the practice how you start to let go of those end goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hopefully somewhere in your meditation you kind of like become aware enough where you can like, yeah, I guess sit with that thought of an end goal and let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been like, you talk about like, we've been talking about trust a little bit, and trust for me is a big thing, but like, I guess for me it comes back to you really like, how much do you really, and like same with worry and everything, but how much do you really believe you're exactly where you are meant to be? Like if you truly believe that, then everything that's happened to you, everything you've done is exactly what's meant to have happened.
All the unconsciousness, all
of it. And to me, that's the game at the moment. It is like, can I, accept every part of me, everything I've done, everything that is, all of it. Like it's not, you can't just choose, you can't pick and choose some of the parts that you like or the bits you like, it's all of it. We talk about the ego and it's like, it's not about bagging the ego out. Like that's a part of it. Like we're having a human experience. This is the experience. Part of the human experience is thoughts. Part of the human experience is desires. It's, so like for me, yeah, at the moment is like sitting with that. You're meant to have these thoughts right now. You're meant to be feeling this exact thing right now.
It's a good mantra.
Yeah. Well,
I am exactly where I'm meant to be.
Like for Ramda, he talks about that a lot. Like,
yeah.
Like, and people are like, oh, you know, like I have these people are like have these desires, or you do these things wrong, or whatever it is, like, yeah, but that was exactly what was meant to happen. Can I trust that? You know, like, and for me, like that works for me because like a couple of my things I struggle with is worry. So like trust, you know, like things will be exactly as they are with no control. Like the thing I'm seeing with at the moment is I have no control over whatever my experience is.
Yeah.
Just how aware I am.
Yeah.
Like whether I'm aware and in that moment or not.
Whether you can feel it, whether you can be with it. And I mean, even that whole thing against like, does that create any change? The awareness? Probably not, right? Because it kind of defeats the purpose then. Because anyway,
well, I'm not thinking about that. You know, if you're fully letting go, yeah, and whether that's right or wrong, it's just what I'm sitting with at the moment. And I guess it's like there might be some control, but it's that future projection over it that you're letting go of, you know, and that's what worry is, isn't it? It's like, if I think about this enough, then then I might have some control over it.
Yeah. I think like the part that's most like the hardest part to grasp of that statement would be the letting go of like the future of how it pans out. You know what I mean? Like you can do so many things in your like willpower and everything to get something done or to be as prepared as possible. But at the end of the day, like you really have no control on how the universe or how others experience it or how even yourself experiences it.
But for me, man, like that is just the most freeing
yeah.
thing in the world. And maybe that's why, like that's how I want to feel. Like, so maybe this is just a thing that's helping me, but like my natural brain is to like, hold on to so many of those things, to like that illusion of control, you know, plan, analyze, do all this. So like I feel freest when I can just let those go. And the thing that's helping me is thinking that it's not necessarily that I don't have any control over it. There's a part of me that knows there's some aspect of that, but it's like trusting I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. What's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing I've found that's really working to like fully let go. I don't know. I'll be vulnerable. I feel like I haven't been vulnerable today, so I'll be vulnerable. But like, it's just so hard to say because like my learnt understanding of crying is like being upset, being a sook, being a bitch, like those type of things. So I don't even know what that emotion is for. Like really, like it's so hard to even sit with knowing, you know, because for me, like I didn't cry for so long, but I have been. Like I cried yesterday, but it's not for me. It happens when I'm like happy and relieved. Like it's weird, like, but it's even hard to talk about because it's like got this such a strong connotation with me. But it happens when like when I meditate and I can like I know I've really let go of something and like accepted this moment when that just emotion just comes out, and it's just like sometimes it comes out as laughter. Sometimes it comes out as crying. Like I don't even know if it's crying. I wouldn't even fucking know. But it's just like this release of energy outside of my body, and my body just relaxes. And it's just like this incredible freeing feeling. And I don't know, man. And then once I've experienced that, like we're talking a little bit like once you've experienced awareness, how hard it is to go back. Like now that I'm experiencing like this freedom. Like, I don't know if this is just growing older, but I'm really struggling to buy into like the ego stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the less I care about materialism or success, and, you know, like, the more I just want to like just sit and meditate.
That's awesome. It sounds like you're really like shifting the powers between the heart and that mind in that sentence.
Yeah. And I think, it is that. It's that moving to the heart, isn't it? Heart, yeah. But like, it's so easy to snap back into that old mode. But I think what's happening now is that this new, like the heart is more there, if that makes sense. Like, even when I am unconscious and I'm like that character, that ego, it's stronger. Like that other part, like that like present part is stronger the more I start to listen to. And it's probably stronger because I like we talked about, like, the more you do the things of your intuition, like this, like the more you listen to it, then, you know, where it was, if I didn't did this, I would have just pushed it down because I'd be ignoring that voice. So it's probably coming out more now because of that.
Yeah, growing it like an exercise, right?
Yeah.
Like a muscle.
Kinda. But it's more like listening to the intuition, like listening. Yeah. And even like telling that story, it's not even vulnerability, it's like trust, man. Like, because there's just still such a strong part of me that is even right now thinking what other people might think. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, we'll talk about that in one podcast, but it's that, you know, that inner child that has that learned these unconscious beliefs for so long and understood that. And now it's only the part of me that, through experience and feeling, like, I guess, is starting to change those.
Would you say that you believe it? Like, would you reckon in David G's meditations, the meditation teacher that we listen to?
Man, who do you think makes me fucking? He's insane.
He's beautiful. He is beautiful. He talks about sacred questions, right? And one of them is, do you give yourself permission to accept that you're right where you're meant to be? It's not even like that where I'm right where I'm supposed to be. It's like I give myself permission to feel that way. Like
so powerful.
So powerful.
If you sit like, and like these type of things, like, you really need to meditate on that, don't you? Like, if we just say that, it's just a sentence, like, but if you're closing your eyes and you're sitting with that, like, thinking about what it means to you to give permission.
Yeah.
Like, what, and then I think your brain will process, like, what you have to let go of to be able to give yourself permission. Like, we're addicted to these emotions, like, and we don't even realize it, but you have to make like awareness of these emotions. And because a lot of time, like, like to accept exactly where you're meant to be, you might have to accept something that you did, you know what I mean? Like, that you are holding on to, like, or something that has happened to you. It could be grief, shame, guilt. To accept exactly where you are, and like, this is where you're meant to be, you have to, like, it sounds easy, but imagine accepting everything that's happened to you, everything you've done, and giving yourself permission to be okay with that.
100%. And that's a process, right? Like, it's not literally just I give myself permission.
For me, it's just like, it's learning to, it's another way of saying it, is like, it's like you're learning to let yourself be loved. Like, I think in one of his other ones, it's like learning, like, he's like, you need to give permission to let the universe love you, or it's accepting the love of the universe. You know, like, the universe is, I mean, that was a huge one for me. I think that's what gets me, is like, I have this such a wall up against, you know, because if I accept that people love me, then they might, you know, I'm thinking they've got ulterior motives for helping me do this, or, you know, where I'm very much in that mindset of they do something for me, I've got to do something for them. So I'd rather just do things for myself. You know what I mean? And so accepting, it's that transactional mindset. It's that separateness. Hey, I'm this person, you're that person, we're separate.
Yep.
And I do this, you do that. You do this for me, I've got to do this for you. That's the way, like, I've been for so long. So, like, love is being able to accept that something is just like someone's done something loving for me.
Out of pure kindness.
Yeah. And then to accept that the universe is loving you.
Yeah.
Next up.
Yeah. Bell Hooks' book. We've talked about it once. All about
What's
love.
That?
I read this book. We talked about it once, like a month ago or so. Bell Hooks' book, All About Love. And she talks about how relationships a lot now are very transactional. And I feel that so much, like in a lot of like relationships in my life and it has to do with power, I think. She explains it as so you can't have like other people holding that power over you, or
what do you mean by power?
So she explains in the book that love comes from a place where there's no power. Like, power can't exist where there's power. And letting go of that power is letting go of the like game kind of societal roles that influence how we treat each other.
So you're saying,
which
like,
tell us. Yeah, go on.
Sorry, like, there's a different type. When we say love, do we mean something else? Essentially, like, I'll love you if you're this person, and I have this influence over you.
A societal, transactional relationship.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? Which is what society would make us believe is a true relationship, right? I mean, that is. And what I mean by society, I mean it's like game and ego kind of standards. But letting that to really, experience love in terms of her perspective is to let go of that power, to let go of that role that you're playing, both sides. So if I do something for you, you're going to love me. You have to give up the prospect that they're going to love you. And
so like power as a transaction.
Yeah.
Love in a transaction, like.
So yeah, you have to give up that they're going to love you for doing something for them, and you're just doing it out of love for them. And you've got to accept that they're not doing things for power over you, or because that's what the game is, right? Like, when you're interacting with someone else, like, the ego wants to like be better than that person. Like, it's all comparison, right? Like, it all just wants to be more, be better, be stronger, faster, taller, like whatever the ego needs in every situation to feel love. Like, because if I'm the smallest of the pack, like, I'm not going to get any love, you know what I mean? So I need to prove myself. I need to prove to other people that I'm the strongest so that they love me, right? And that's the whole thing around power. Like, your mind thinks it needs that power to receive that love. When she explains, like, there can't be no love when there's power. So it's just like,
yeah, well, it's probably got to do with our like definition, like societal definition of love, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like, yeah. It's not what. Yeah, it's not necessarily, because you're saying two types of love there, aren't you? Like, there's conditional love and there's unconditional love.
Yeah.
And Ram Dass talks about that. Like, I'll love you if you're this person to me. So, like, I'm in a relationship,
Yeah.
I'll love you if you don't put 200 kilos on and sit on the couch and do nothing. Like, I'll love you if you're this person to me.
He how he says, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family.
Oh, you want to bring back habitual patterns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, but no, you're onto a great point there. I read it a while ago, but she does explain how society struggled to define love.
Yeah.
And like that's the purpose of the book, to define it.
Well, Ram Dass was listening to me the other day. He defines it as love is a feeling, right? So it's not that really like I love you. It's you make me feel this way. So I'm using you to make me have this feeling. So the feeling of love.
Yeah.
So when I say I'm in love with someone, it's not like I'm giving them this feeling, but it's like I use you to make me feel this feeling.
Yeah.
You're a vehicle to me feeling a certain way.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And that's how Ram Dass kind of goes into it. And if like and if it's really unconditional love, it's that accepting of exactly like how people are and who they are and trusting.
Yeah.
Like that you can accept them. Like I think the part that we struggle with is like you said that in the idea of love comes with such societal pressures and like you said, like that game, like if you say you love someone, then you've got to be in a relationship, you've got to get married, you've got to have kids, you've got to do all these things for them. Whereas like it's really a completely different definition, seeing like love as a feeling, isn't it? Like love to society is this thing that comes with pressures. That's why we struggle with it, because we're like, oh, if I love you, then I've got to do this, or I've got to be this person, or whereas I guess that unconditional love is really just like, I don't know, a connection of being like, it's like, it's an awareness really, isn't it? Like Ram Dass talks a lot about loving awareness. And it's just kind of just an acceptance of whatever it is, and just like seeing the world like through a different way, I guess. Not that I really know what that is, but I think there's definitely two different types of love, and that's probably why we struggle with it.
Agreed. It's about changing that conceptualization, right? Like we've got this concept in our head of love, and we can feel that.
Well, it fits so well into our society, doesn't it? Like and it does, but our like, and it's probably why there's so much divorce, is like, because like loving is just a feeling. Like if someone makes you feel love, but we all change, don't we? And you're loving someone because they make you feel a certain way in one moment, and over time we change, and that vehicle stops being that person that makes you feel a certain way. I'm not in love with you anymore. But it wasn't. It was just you made me feel a certain way. We don't make each other feel a certain way anymore. I don't know.
Agreed.
I just think it's evolving in what it means for me. Like loving to me is just more of like an awareness, a feeling.
The crazy thing how things can, or concepts can, change their meaning, right? Like even throughout society, like things have been shunned and then become incredibly popular. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like a telltale sign of just like growing up, and I mean maybe even evolution, right? Like just getting some understanding things more for what they really are. And I wonder where that comes from. Does it come from people listening more to their true self? Does it come from being open to other ways of life? Like it's interesting, I find.
I'm not sure. I'd have to meditate and write on that before I have thoughts.
I was just scrolling through Insight Timer the other morning, and I came across someone, and in her bio it said that she was trained by Gabor Mate. Gabor.
Oh, cool.
And you love him, right?
Oh man, I love it. Like because he's like this. Like he's just so raw and honest, and like so accepting that he's just as human as anyone else, and is messed up. And he went through like the Holocaust as a baby, man. So like,
oh wow,
yeah. So his formation of, so his evolution years, which like just fascinate me so much. Like those when you're like those baby to year like 2 year 8, it's just so critical in our like neurological development, and then like that character that we become that we've talked about. And his book is called, like his newest one's like the myth of normal. So it's challenging that societal norms of like who we are, like, and they are myths because like, we all believe it, but yeah, he's just, the way he presents and writes and talks is just like, he is vulnerable. Like, so he's so open and vulnerable. So you just connect with him straight away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's sick. I like the idea of myth. Right. That's interesting.
Well, it's like Godsey, isn't it? Eric Godsey, he talks about, what's it, the myths that make us.
Yeah.
Because it all is just a narrative, isn't it? That character. Yeah. It's like, and our brains love stories.
Yeah. I can see that so much. Evolved. Right? I've actually like come across this recently, like in the last few months, where just everything, like absolutely everything I do, my mind just plays out. Like, how can I turn this into a story? You know what I mean? Like, how can I tell people about this at work on Monday? Like this tiny little task. And it's so funny.
Yeah.
Because it takes it away from it. But yeah. And the myths, like, I mean, some of the myths would be like what we've thought about love up until, like, you can just tell it's a myth.
Yeah.
But
all
hopefully,
those unconscious beliefs.
Yeah. I mean, now just hopefully that we've figured out a way to, I mean, it's just a new myth now, right?
Yeah.
It's just the next myth.
Hopefully more evolved, but whatever you tell yourself.
Yeah.
I'm a spiritually awake person.
On to my next myth.
What are those shit?
That one's done.
Yeah. I've been that person. I'm spiritual now.
Yeah. For the next 48
I've done
minutes.
Meditation. Yeah.
Sick. That's awesome. I really want to read Ram Dass's book, Becoming Nobody.
That's what I've listened. That's the one I listened to. Yeah, I've listened to it on audiobook because I struggle to read, but like it's just so easy to listen to audiobooks when you're doing
audiobooks. So good, man. I read it.
But there is something also really cool about reading a book. Like I feel like I listen a lot, like focus a lot more when I read.
Yeah.
Kind of like audiobooks. I'm doing something else. I'm not giving it my full attention.
Yeah.
I just put Ram Dass kind of like on repeat sometimes because I just pick up those quotes and then I'm like, I feel like he says the things that I exactly need to hear in exact moments. Just
the synchronicities.
I needed that. Thanks, Ram Dass. It's just crazy, and he even talks about how like when someone passes, like, and how he's dead now, like, but he's just still so alive. You know what I mean? Like. Be Here Now, what is it? The Be Here Now Center, which is at the Ram Dass stuff and all these books and all these lectures, and like he's probably just as alive as when you ask anyone if they know Ram Dass, they wouldn't, or maybe some people know if he's dead or alive, but he could be alive. Like, I don't know, but
yeah,
I just love his, whether it's right or not, these beliefs that I'm trying to, I guess, change, from these old patterns, to these new myths, whatever it is, these old myths to these new myths, whether they're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It helps me, I guess, be more present and loving and joyful in my life. It makes me a better person. So that's the That's the kind of thing, like whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah. And it makes the experience more enjoyable, right? Like that's
what makes you experience the experience.
Yeah.
Like for me, like one of the big things is like, this is the experience. I don't get to choose. So I'm trying to think that I don't have any control.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, I'm trying to go to that because I'm a control freak. You know, so it helps me, like, it's that idea that you're exactly where you're meant to be. Like this is your incarnation. Like it's, you know, and that's what we talk about, like, you know, being this ego, being this character, we want to change it, but like maybe that character is who we're meant to play in this incarnation, you know. Like everything that happens was always meant to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe you're never meant to, like, you know those people who haven't picked up meditation, like
they weren't meant to. Well, maybe they will at some stage, whatever it is, I don't know, but that's what I mean. You can't force any of this on anyone, like, even though it's so. But I'm very grateful that I'm experiencing this life.
It's pretty unreal, hey?
Yeah. And like the other idea is that I like to kind of sit with sometimes is like, everyone is just me living a different, like God living a different life, experiencing itself. So like I could have already lived your life. You know what I mean? Like you're just the same thing. Like once you take away everything else, it's all just this thing experiencing this life. So even like someone that's like homeless or a drug addict or whatever, like their experiences might be just important to the incarnation as any other experience. You know what I mean? Like you're going to experience, I think when you can think of that, and then if I think of that in like a crowd, a public place, and I just look around, it's like, that's me in a different life. Like, I wonder what his life, his experience like. Like it's just me, and that's really what we are, isn't it? We're all just the same. We come from the same thing. Like we come from source. It's the ego that creates that separateness.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. Well, it helped us create society, didn't it? It's made human beings very successful, that ego, but it's also made us very separate, and now probably very sick.
Unfortunately. I had a little thought on that. Actually, it's a bit abstract. Going into this, let's do abstract for a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's get the imagination going. So you said how you're like the incarnations are just experiencing, right? And
God experiencing itself.
Right? So that means that the experiencer and the experienced is the same thing. And the thing that makes it possible for the experiencer to experience itself is the separateness. Is the idea that you and your ego are different things.
So you say we're not actually experiencing it.
Well, it's like if everything was one thing, right? Like it'd be so lonely. So it's like made itself believe that it's separate.
Whoa.
Right, for it to experience itself, so it wasn't so lonely.
So you're an illusion right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the experiencing
Whoa.
itself unfold.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool. Also scary.
So scary. But it's also not scary. Because like once yours is gone, once you die, you're just passing over to the next experience.
Yeah.
Which the only thing that's scary about that, like if that scares you, which just scares the shit out of me, it's just how attached I am to my character.
Yeah.
Because like if you're not actually dying, you're just passing to the next experience. That does scare me. And that shows how much I'm clinging to Adam. Like
yeah.
how much I'm clinging to my character.
Yeah.
I don't want Adam to die. I like him. I like him.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Crazy. But that blew my mind.
Crazy, right? I mean, I had this thought.
I hadn't thought about it that much.
I went down a real rabbit hole.
You did. I didn't want to think about it that much. Whoa.
Yeah.
No.
The thing that scares me about that thought would be the loneliness, I think. Because, it's like, I mean, if it was true, like, this is just me being creative and imaginative, right? Like, if that was true and everything was one, and it's just like, damn, like, I just want to experience this with somebody. So it just...
Yeah, but that's such an ego creation, like the somebody. What does that mean? Like your definition of somebody. There is, you know what I mean? Like
it made it up, right? Like
we're projecting stories onto it. It just is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Agreed.
Man, I can sit with it. There's the universe is there. You know what I mean? And I know if we're saying it's from one, it's all the same. But it's infinite energy. There's heaps of energy, right?
Yeah.
So if we're all come from one thing, and it's just like, I don't know what that thing is, but if they say it's like the universe is energy, whatever it is, it's source. You know what I mean? Like there's heaps of that coming out. You know what I mean? It's infinitely expanding the universe. So it's not lonely. You know what I mean? It might be all the same thing.
Yeah.
But there's heaps of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's that separateness that projects that, but they're not different things.
Yeah.
They've got to be different things. But it's just like, how cool. Like you are just this different expression of the same thing. But the fact that I get to interact with that is pretty cool. Like
jump into the atom body and...
Yeah. You might be interacting with... It's not like you're interacting with yourself because yourself is a creation of the ego, right?
Yeah.
You're interacting with the same thing. We don't know what that thing is.
Yeah.
Like our egos, our mind we can't even get close to understand. We don't even know anything about our minds, right?
Yeah.
We can't even get close to understanding this.
Yeah.
So that's why I kept it at just...
Yeah, that makes sense. That
I like going down rabbit holes.
We're also agreed. There's just no two ways you can go about it because we're trying to explain something. We're trying to conceptualize something that we don't have the words for.
Yeah. But that's also the beauty of it, though. No, but it's the beauty of it too. Like,
yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, but it also just makes you let go because like Eckhart Tolle has this meditation, right, where you just kind of like, and Eckhart Tolle was one of the first people that like introduced me to like meditation, things like that. And so like his book, what is it, The Power of Now? And you just sit there and you can close your eyes, you keep your eyes open, whatever you want, but you imagine seeing your body from above, all right? And you kind of see yourself. And then you zoom out a little bit more and you can see the room you're in with your body in it. And you zoom out a little bit more, you can see your house. Like you can see some things around you, and then you can see zoom out more, you see your suburb, and then your town, and then your country, and then the continent, and you just keep going up. And you realize how small you are. And it just gives you this perspective, of how insignificant things are and the things that we focus on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it just gives you this perspective of how big the universe is and how small we are. And I don't know, for me, it just like because I'm a control freak and like struggle with trust and things like that, it's just like it helps me let go of like the little shit that annoys you. You know what I mean? Like the little shit. Like
so
what we
small,
choose to
right?
what we obsess over. Like I heard something this morning. It was like probably an Alan Watts thing, but it was like, and when I say God, who knows what that means? But it means something different for everyone. But it's like the gods made this game for fun, and it's us that takes it serious.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're truly present, it's like why things are so simple, you know, because
it's just an experience, right? That's all it is.
Yeah.
And if you could like start this life over, right? And you could like, there's like a little checkbox, and you could like tick, like if you're going to feel shit on the 3rd of August 2024 or whatever, like if you're gonna feel good, and you're just like going through this big checkbox, like do you reckon you would also tick the bad feelings?
What, like I get to choose?
Yeah.
How I feel?
Yeah. If you were like setting up the Adam character, you know what
like
I mean?
Knowing who I am who I am now.
Yeah.
So I've lived this part of my life already.
Yeah.
Now I'm going back and starting again. What I'd choose to feel.
Yeah. Like that's the ultimate, like
would that character start again from birth?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't change a thing. Wouldn't change a
hell
thing.
yeah.
You can't,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
Like, and
Agreed.
that's like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you change one of those things.
We're not having this conversation right now.
No. No, we're not. That's a cool thing to think about though, because and if you wouldn't change anything, like why am I so obsessed with change, like trying to be this people to other people, you know what I mean? Like
and why do I worry about it?
Yeah, why am I so worried about where I am in life?
Yeah.
And if you ask me to change it, I'm like, fuck no.
Exactly. It's a trip, right?
But it's also the fear of death, isn't it? Like giving that character up, because, but it might be because I'm scared of, you know, what the other incarnation could be. Maybe it's not that I want to give this one up. It's that I just can't let go of it because there's this illusion of control over who I am. Maybe. I don't know. That's another rabbit hole. What about you?
I'd like to think so. Yeah. I'd like to think I would. We've talked about free will before.
Yeah, we have.
There was this book that I read, one of the first books I ever read. And it was called A Short History of Nearly Everything.
Yeah, Bill Bryson.
Yeah, Bill Bryson. And he starts off in his book, just like this question of if the Earth would, like the Big Bang, whatever, happened again, with the exact same gases, the exact same like energy, like would we be, if that moment, like that one singular moment was the exact same again, would we still be here having this conversation right now? Like that initial first moment, like if you under the concept of time. It was a crazy thought, and that literally spiraled my like existence, like on.
Well, you're zooming out, aren't you?
Yeah, it was like right out, and that was my first kind of run in with control as an illusion, like could potentially be an illusion.
And that's what I mean, man. Like you zoom out. To think that we have any control is like such an egotistical thing. Yeah. But it's also like a fear thing because our brains can't understand that amount of time and can't understand a lot. So we create these simple stories to explain very, very complex things.
Yeah. Also in the book, he says how like the universe became something that we could fit in the palm of our hand into a size that we can't comprehend in a time just so small that we can't comprehend. like
man.
that. You know what I mean? Like instantly, like it grew, but instantly to us. Which is crazy. Already, we gotta get out there, man. I reckon. Like we gotta
get out into the universe.
I'm sorry, man. It's huge.
We need more Elons.
Mate. It's huge, and we're just chilling with the trees. I mean, it's not that bad here, is it? Quite good.
Yeah, but it's also like that. Like I don't know. Like I think when you close your eyes, you can kind of see infinite space, can't you, too? Like there's an infinite world. If you want to go outwards, you can also very easily go inwards. And like just like with our minds and stuff, we can't comprehend what's going on there, and like our interactions with it. Like there's a lot of things we can't explain as well. Like I don't know, I think there's, we think we're like a certain size, but I mean, like you can close your eyes and, see shapes and colors and feel like infinite amount of things. So like, yeah, I don't know. I'm obsessed with the journey inwards.
Let's go.
You can experience the universe and just by closing your eyes.
Yeah, that's a cool thought. No, maybe we don't need a spilled spaceship.
That'd be cool too, though. I'm happy for you. I would come on your spaceship.
Zero gravity would be awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, inwards then outwards. Like, I don't know.
That's funny that thought came back. I used to be obsessed with those thoughts, like when I was like 18, 19.
Yeah, I think that's how it starts, isn't it? It's curious
to play with.
Yeah, it's that curiosity, because like I've read all those books too, just like fascinating, like history, like all those things, like how we got to be here. And then you go down the rabbit hole of like all the Eastern traditions and
like, holy shit, they've been talking about this stuff for thousands of years, man.
Yeah,
like I didn't just stumble across it.
Yeah, it's funny how you go through like different parts. Like, it was funny. Like when I first got into like the Eastern stuff, I'm like, I'm just gonna run away and go to India. Because how cool would that be? I'd learn so much. I'd find a guru. But in reality, it's just me wanting to escape all my problems and just run away. Spiritual bypass. Where like it's like your Ramdas said, like you said before, the most you can learn is go spend a week with your parents. Like, you want to become spiritually aware, be present with that. Like, you can't run away from this stuff, can you? Because it comes with you. And that's the thing, like on just having traveled Europe for 5 weeks, like it doesn't put anything else on hold, doesn't it? It doesn't put your mind on hold, it doesn't put your, it doesn't put your practice on hold, because it doesn't matter where you are. If you're not, it's how you feel in that place that, decides your experience or how you interpret your experience.
Yeah, because the experience is kind of always going to be there, right?
You can find beauty in any moment.
Yeah. Good. I got an Alan Watts quote that I want to say. If I think all the time, then if I think all the time, then all I can think about is thoughts, and I'm never in relationship with the outer world. I think that's awesome. I think that perfectly sums up the awareness to judgment mind that I experience so much. Like I'm seeing a tree and then I'm thinking about seeing a tree. It is so dumb. And then bang, you know what I mean? And then I'm judging my...
You just Witnessed yourself judging yourself for being human.
And now I'm witnessing it.
But that's a practice, isn't it? So you're aware of that thought pattern now. You just caught yourself.
Yeah.
And that's like this Dr. Joe Dispenza says, the first thing, like as simple as it is, you need to be aware of what you did. You can't change it until you're aware of it.
Yeah. But the one thing that wholly sucks is just it doesn't feel like you're going forward.
No,
for me anyway.
Because you're coming aware of how
miles backward.
Yeah, because you're coming aware of how strong your thoughts are, whereas you just used to ignore them and do what they want. Now you're aware of how powerful they are and the hold they have over you.
Yeah.
And different thoughts elicit different emotions. So like some emotions have higher frequency than others. Yeah, for some people, like anger might be like the highest in particular thoughts. So to like let go of those emotions, he explains that you need as strong emotion the other way. So like gratitude or joy are really high strong emotions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you have that anger, that high frequency of that emotion, it's like you're so attached to it. Those thoughts. It's not easy. So like
that's cool though how there's like a couple of parts, right? I think I read about this once. There's like a couple of things you can do. You can, like you just said, focus on the opposite.
Yeah. Well, you can think. You think of I do this with like the kids at school. Like think of your favorite place.
Yeah.
Think of your favorite food. You know, your favorite food. How did that make you feel? Oh, now I'm hungry. I'm excited. I'm happy. Like thoughts change how you feel, just like negative ones do.
Yeah.
Like, but you can have as high a powerful positive emotions too. Like I don't like using the word positive and negative, but I mean ones you want to feel versus ones that habitual ones you want to let go of.
Yeah. Ones that feel right and then ones that don't. Like you can have negative feelings that feel right.
Exactly. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if someone's attacking you, you need anger. Like, there's no bad or right or wrong emotions, and that's like the point of it is there's no right or wrong emotions. It's well, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, like the body keeps a score. The problem with emotions is they can get stuck in the body. So when something happens, to us, and this is what like kind of like complex trauma is, or trauma that gets stuck in the body is. When something happens that elicits a high emotion, if we can't react and let that emotion out straight away, if you're pinned down and attacked and you just kind of like, it's that fight, flight, freeze response, like our natural response. If there's a tiger attacking us, we would run. You know what I mean? That emotion of fear is let out, you run. You know what I mean? So there's a natural conclusion to that emotion. But if you're attacked, tied up, and you can't do anything, and you're stuck, and you witness something or something happens, and you don't let out that emotion, you can't get away, you can't fight. You know what I mean? You can't let that emotion out. Then it's stuck in your body, and they've proven that it can come out as illness. It can come out as, you know what I mean? It's like that connection between our mind and body is just like physiology and psychology is so crazy, and that's what like that. Trauma stuck in the body is crazy. It can manifest through reactions or it can manifest through illness or whatever it is. Will come up eventually though.
You ever practice for getting it out? Or have you experienced any
I think that's what like I was talking about before, that crying is just the release of it, to be honest. I think if you think about some emotions and why we have them, like that's why I think laugh is very similar to crying.
Yeah.
Because it's just you feel good after it. Yeah. I don't know. Like it's just it's that giving yourself, it's bringing them into the awareness and letting go of them. Like your body physically needs to let it out, I think.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not like a big trauma that I'm letting out, but it's a heap of little stuff built up that I just hold on to.
Yeah.
So when I do that meditation, I'm breathing into a specific part of my body and David G and allowing the love in. And it takes a while, but I'd also do it with some pretty heavy breath work.
Yeah.
So I feel so relaxed in that part where I was so tight. So it's like letting go of the physiology. It's not just mental. It's it is physical as well because it hides in your body. It's stored in your body.
Yeah.
Like that stress, I just feel so relaxed. It's just relief. Like I don't have to hold on to this. It's like it's that baggage. It's exactly that quote that Ram Dass said. What was that? I wrote it down. Ask your higher wisdom if it is not true that without worry you would have arrived exactly where you are right now and more pleasantly. Worry and fear are not tickets on the express train. They are extra baggage. You were going that way anyway. Awesome. So it's just that extra baggage you're taking with you everywhere.
It's that if you don't.
Yeah, which is also a beautiful thing, but like there are things we can do to ease that baggage, ease that burden, hold on. Like breath work has been proven scientifically to like change your physiology, and you change your physiology, you change your brain. Like it's just so cool. I'm just so fascinated by the science and stuff behind it too, but all comes from these simple philosophies, doesn't it?
Yeah, small C. I went to like a breathwork class I want to say like 2 weekends ago. And we do like we just start with like a small meditation and then we go into like 45 minutes. They call it like continuous breath, but it's just like what I would describe as just like hyperventilating for like 45 minutes, just like
that's the Wim Hof. Yeah.
Is that Wim Hof?
For 45 minutes.
45
you black
minutes.
out?
So what happens? Some crazy stuff happens. Like I love it.
55 minutes.
Yeah. I'll explain because I'll just link it to your story first. And then I'll explain my experience. But the like the crying and laughing, some people will be wailing, absolutely wailing about the whole thing. But then some people will just be laughing absolutely hysterically. And it's just such a chaotic environment. But it honestly feels like the same thing.
It's letting out of that emotion that you carry.
Release.
Yeah, it's a release.
Yeah.
And your body feels so much lighter after.
Yeah. Yeah. It came out of me.
Physiology, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I don't know if I was able to let go enough or
hey, judgment mind. It's exactly what was meant to happen at the time.
You're right. I found I got
you try to say, oh, you're right, but I'm not letting go of it.
So what my experience was, that was the perfect experience. I just shook like uncontrollably. Like shook, and I got like real like crampy in my hands and stuff.
Oh really?
And I was just there shaking. Yeah. But it was a cool experience. And then you stop the 45 minutes and they do like a sound bath, and I felt amazing. I felt like I was levitating. It was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I did feel a lot lighter afterwards, like so.
Yeah. Oh, now I want to do it.
Yeah, it was cool, but it was just like that. Oh, like I feel like I need a release, and I should be crying, like I should be screaming right now, like I need this
that
release.
Part of you being there is what's blocking that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and how it should be, right?
But it's not. It's not how it should be. Like it is what it is. Like that was your perfect experience.
Yeah, me conceptualizing it was the perfect experience. Or all I could handle at the moment, probably, right? Like,
no, stop analyzing it.
The subconscious will give it
trust.
to me when I can handle it. Yeah, I do trust it. It'll give it to me when I'm ready.
Trust. You can't just say, "Oh, I trust." You gotta feel it.
No, I just flick the switch in my brain. I've let everything go.
Exactly, it's that easy.
Another thing on what you were saying.
Hey.
Another thing on what you were saying. I wrote down this thing a couple of years ago on like 2 ways to combat fear. Like the 2 different paths. And one would be deconstructing the fear
Mm.
and really getting to understand what the base feeling that we're scared of feeling, right? Like you've talked about this before where like it's a fear, it's not the fear of doing something, it's the fear of feeling something.
Yeah.
In a way, like what I'm not scared to jump out of a plane. I'm scared of feeling
controllers. Out of control.
Yeah, that I'm gonna die. Like I'm scared of facing death.
Yeah.
And deconstructing it and really seeing it for what it is.
Yeah, that would be not having control for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a Buddha quote actually.
Yeah, go on.
If I'm sitting and fear arises, I sit. If I'm standing and fear arises, I stand. That's what we said.
Sit with it.
Exactly. Just keep doing whatever you're
One
doing.
of
And then
the sorry, you go.
and then the other way is just focusing on the freedom, like you said before. The focusing on like the absence of fear when fear is not around can help cultivate. Like because when you feel fear. When you feel fear, it feels like the biggest thing in the world, right? Like it feels like it's all there is. But if you can kind of cultivate the times and the 98% of time when you're not in that one fear mindset, then I think is another way to soften it.
Yeah. One of the simplest methods I've ever learned is just RAIN. It's RAIN. Which is just like to close when a big emotion arises, like fear. Close your eyes and you recognize. So R, which is to like, all right, this is the emotion. I'm fearful because of this or whatever it is. They recognize. Accept is just to take a moment, like breathe and sit with it. Like not the emotion conceptually, but just like the energy in your body.
Yeah.
Investigate is I, which is to find where that emotion is sitting in your body. That might be like, if it's anxiety, it might be in your stomach, or you feel a bit sick, or like stress in your head or your shoulders or your neck. And it's to find it. And then N is to nurture it. So I can't imagine like I find it and then I'm just like, imagine I'm like I don't know, like cradling it and, looking after it. And do that and then try and if it's like anger, try and be angry. You know what I mean? Like after just like spending this time. Well, one, you're going inside your body, which makes you like aware. So it's like your senses, so you're feeling, you come into your body, you're not in your thoughts anymore. Yeah. And then the nurture is just coming into that loving awareness, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's what I try to do before, like, because fear, it's easy to be like, oh, conceptually I should do this with it. But I just feel like a practice first to soften it and sit with it. And then, like go into what it might mean and, like think about it that way after just.
Yeah, just waiting a second before you conceptualize. That's so funny. As you were going through the letters, like I was just waiting for you to use your mind at one point. Like even the word investigate. And then you're just like find where it is. Like don't even try and like label it or whatever. You're just like finding it. The word investigate to me would be like, why am I feeling like this? And using the brain, right? And you're just like completely different idea of the word, which is so cool.
But like that's I got that from Pema Chodron. That's not mine. It's so powerful because from what I've learned, science and like studied psychology and stuff, like the R, naming an emotion, is the awareness, right? So that's awareness. The A, accepting it, is like feeling the energy, isn't it? Like it's just that it's the embodiment of it. It's like, which if you can do that, then automatically like the power that emotion has over you weakens. And it's just like the process of breaking down, and the I finding it in your body is bringing your senses in. So you're coming into the real world, like without even realizing that you're doing it, like this breakdown of it. And by the time you get to nurture, the emotions changed because it doesn't have that power, because you've done this mindfulness stuff, and then you kind of bring your heart into it by nurturing it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just, some of the best spiritual teachers just have the simplest.
Yeah.
It's like Raghu Marcus, when he has people on, like these famous people, and they go on these massive stories and whatever, and he's like, his answer is like, breathe. But it's not even that. And then it's just how present he is relaxes them.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's this person with unconditional love next to you.
Yeah.
And it's just like we talked about last week, when you're vulnerable with someone, like how much that relaxes someone else into allowing them to be themselves.
Yeah.
And it's the same with love. Like it's the same with accepting people. It's the same with...
Yeah. I think it gets rid of that power, honestly. I think it really, like, I don't know. Bell Hooks talks about it a lot, and even like she has some killer quotes in there just from like incredible people. Like as soon as you get rid of that power.
I used to be like petrified of public speaking, right? Especially in front of like my peers. So like at work, in front of kids it was all right, students it was all right, but like in front of like the peers, the other teachers, I would be like shaking. Like I don't know why. Like I'd be fine, but I'd just be shaking, and my voice would be trembling.
Yeah, the voice trembles.
Yeah, and I never like, and my heart would race, and like it'd be. But like I had to do a presentation on Wednesday, in front of everyone, and I don't know, things have kind of changed. Like I still have that fear, but it kind of excites me now. Like,
awesome.
I'll be so prepared. I'd write down exactly what I'm saying. I'm going to say this. But now I'm like, I trust myself, and whatever the experience is, how people perceive me is what it's meant to be. That's the experience. I have no control over that. So I go into it zero, like minimal preparation. Haven't thought about it all day, because I'm like, the more I think about it, the more I'm gonna, it's that worry, isn't it? And I just trust whatever's gonna happen. And I stand up there just free. Like I don't shake anymore. I don't tremble. I'm less prepared. And I don't know. It's that fear has kind of dissipated, because I've sat with the emotion before it, and I've recognized it. I've accepted that I'm going to feel this way. And it's just this simple thing of like just sitting with that emotion has then, and it's funny because then I probably present 10 times better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like manifested. It's like these fears. If you're focused on looking like this certain way, then you're more likely to do that. You know what I mean? Like where our attention goes, our energy flows. So if like I'm really worried about doing this, then, those thought patterns. But if I'm focused on trust, and like it's not that I don't care if I look like the biggest dickhead in the world up there, but if that's what happens, that's what's going to happen. And this is what trust gives me. It gives me this freedom to not focus on the outcome. And at the end of the day, like I'm focused on myself. You know what I mean? Like, have I improved in this way? I don't know where I got this from, but I guess this was a fear. It was a huge fear for me that is now dissipated. Like it doesn't have that strength over me anymore.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Kind of seems like your intention has switched from these people need to like me to
trust. Because it's not like my brain doesn't want them to like me. Like it does. I'm not that present. Like I'm not that aware. Like
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Just my intention is to, because like we said last week, it's not about not caring, because if I just said I didn't care, that would probably show I cared more. You know what I mean? Because then I'd worry, oh, I don't care what they think of me. Like, it's also like, it's not about that. It's not about not caring. It is like, essentially at the end of the day, it's what it is, but it's about letting go of other people's perceptions, but focusing my intention on what I want. And that's trusting that whatever happens, people yell at me, and like, it's because our brain's picturing the worst thing that could possibly happen. Like, everyone's going to hate me. Like, but even if you say like, what's the worst thing that could happen? And it's like, oh, people are confused and they didn't like it. It's not as bad but our brain's going, no, everyone's going to hate me. They're going to think the worst of me. Like, our brain focuses on, and subconsciously, we're not even aware what our brain's doing. And that's why intention's so important. But I think we need to do an episode on intention at some point, because I think it's pretty important. I just went off on a tangent. I'm not sure where that went, but it was about fear, I guess.
That's awesome about your public speaking. No, it's sick, because I'm still very much in my stage of trembly voice.
Yeah.
Jarrod. Yeah, very much so. I gave it a crack last year. Like, I did a few events, just talking in front of peers and new people, and just the voice. And I just black out. Even sometimes in like work meetings and stuff like that. Like, I'll get asked the question, I will just like spit words out, probably not even making sense, and then I'll come to like a minute later, just like, what did I say?
Judging yourself.
Judging myself. Agreed. Yeah.
But that judgment then reinforces what happened, and then creates more worry for next time, which makes you less present, and it just reinforces the cycle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's, at the end of the day, that's just a thought. Like, no matter, like, your brain wants to believe it because it wants to control the narrative. Like, if I believe that was a stupid thing I said, then I can judge myself for it and I can improve on it or whatever. But it's actually the opposite. Right? Yeah, it's self-fulfilling. Like, it's actually the opposite. Like, sitting with that and trusting that's exactly what was meant to happen, and just relaxing into it. Next time you'll be a lot less stressed about what happened. You know what I mean? Because you're not thinking about what happened last time.
Yeah.
Wow. And it isn't easy. Like, yesterday I went to the races, I drank, and usually when that happens, like, there's so much guilt and shame. Like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. Like, what did I say to these people? Like, how did these people present? And I still had those thoughts today, but this morning I just sat with them. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not buying into them. Like,
that's a big. I love that.
And it doesn't mean they go away.
Yeah.
But this is
buy into that story.
Yeah, and this is me. You know what I mean? Like, that's the experience. I was meant to have that experience. This is me.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, like, for me, stress has arisen from, me being who I think people want me to be. You know what I mean? But, this is me. That was me. There's nothing else like that. Like, if I'm focused on who I am and being myself, then these judgment thoughts of how people perceive me, I can let go.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to let go of, I think, because I'm not trying to be someone else.
Yeah.
I'm more focused on trust and how I want to feel.
Yeah. I love that buying into a story so much. It's like a good mantra. Like, before stepping into a room or something, like, no, I'm not going to buy into that story of this is what happened.
And exactly, perfect example, after I presented, I wanted to ask everyone in the room how it went. Like, it was so funny. I was like, my boss was there. Are you
happy? Do you like me?
Yeah, my boss was there. And I was like, every part of me wanted to go, how did I go? How did I do? Was I all right? But I'm like, I can't buy into it, because that's the clinging, isn't it? And if I want to really trust, if I want to really believe this is the experience, I can trust I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. That was exactly what was meant to happen. And if I want to really practice that, and if I do ask, that's okay too. Like,
exactly.
that's part of the experience. But I'm trying to, That's the practice, is letting go of that for me, not buying into that story, because it's that gap we talked about last week where it just drags me further away from who I am. And I'm just, and it's that thing, like, I think we think people will love us more if we're this person, but it's probably the opposite. The more you're yourself, you probably actually find more connection and more.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just so, I don't know how to, it's like so evidential that going towards the character is separating. Like, this way separates you, and this way connects you. Like, it's just,
but we think
we think it's the opposite. Agreed. But like, there's like no real, I mean, you could probably quantify it, right? But that's what it really, I think that's the right answer. You know what I mean? Like, I believe that to be true, and that's a really easy
and
belief.
I guess that's where, like, whether these things are true or not, that's belief is helping me right now. Like, I'm trying to I'm learning to be okay with myself.
Yeah. Let's go. We've been chatting for ages.
I know, man. We probably need but like, with one final thing to finish on. And Aubrey Marcus explains this, I think, quite well with fear, and where your attention goes, where your intention goes, your energy flows. So what your attention goes to, you move towards. So if you're stuck in fear, so imagine you're driving a car really fast, right? And there's a corner coming up. All right. If you're focused on your fear, which is crashing into that wall and not turning, your attention is looking at that wall. If you're looking at that wall, you're not making that turn. You're a lot more likely to crash because your attention is on that wall. If you're confident and you're looking at the corner and your attention's on making that turn, you're a lot more likely to make that turn without crashing into the wall. And it's just that perfect analogy that I think of for fear. If I'm focused on my fear, I'm going to move towards my fear. And that fear is a lot likely more going to manifest because my energy, my attention, everything I think about is going towards that. And this is why I write my intention every single morning. And it's not like I believe it, but when I sit and I come back to myself and I'm like, what was my intention today? I choose, and then I go trust. It's not like I don't go towards fear. My attention's still very much in fear at times, but then I'm like, remember, choose trust.
Choose trust. Yeah, agreed. I like the most likely thing, and I think that's why it gets so hard sometimes, because you can honestly have that intention so much, but still to turn the corner, but still crash the car. Like, it still happens. So it is just like so hard to, sometimes.
But you don't know what the crash could have been. Like, if you're just focused on fear, you could have been so much worse.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's a good point.
If you've got a little bit of attention towards the other things you want, that's better than nothing. Like, you're still manifesting some things.
Yeah.
Like you doing this podcast, like we put that out into the universe, didn't we? And it's happened. Like, that's where our attention's gone, because our intention was there. You know what I mean? Like, we were going to do this. And
you had a download.
We had a download. I think that's a good place to finish.
Agreed.
Whatever comes out of this.